The 450 Blueray comes with a eSky 704A heading hold gyro. It's been on the market for a while. It's a pretty decent gyro for the money. And when you first plug it in, you're going to see the light is going to be red. That's while it's initializing. You are not going to want to move the helicopter while it's initializing. Bad news if you move it around and it doesn't initialize and then you don't notice that. So you're going to want to make sure that you plug it in, let it sit still. It's going to go from red to blue. Let me turn on my transmitter and I'll plug it in there. It's red and you'll see the servo move actually once it turns blue. So now it's ready to go. And you can see as I'm moving the Healy, the servo is actually moving back and forth. And also when I move the sticks, the servo for the tail has also got to move. If that servo does not move, then there's something wrong with that gyro. Now let's look at the tail. One of the biggest problems that I see with people, especially when they start out, a lot of people post questions on the forums and so forth, is about the tail and the gyro and tail issues, and you really have to understand the physics behind the tail. When you have your main blades, they're rotating looking from the top down. They're rotating in a clockwise manner like this, which makes an opposite direction where the Healy, if this is going in that direction, it's going to make the Healy want to rotate in the counterclockwise direction, which means to counteract that we need some right thrust or some right yaw on the helicopter to make the helicopter go right. Okay, so if you look over at the tail here, you can see that the blades, if you rotate the main blades, that's going to make the tail go like this. Okay, all right, it's going to rotate in that direction. And if we get these blades over here, if I look at it in this direction here, okay, I'm going to now adjust the stick to the right. Okay, so you can see how as it's rotating around, let me just put some trim in there. Okay, so as it's rotating around, okay, it's going to cause air to move in that direction. If air goes in that direction, then it's going to make the Healy rotate to the right. So another rule of thumb is, if you know your Healy, and you know a lot of helicopters have their blades going in the same direction, is that what stick movement makes the tail slider right here go in what direction. So if I go to the right stick, that slider goes to the left. So it's an opposite reaction. Okay, if you always remember that that's an opposite reaction, then you're gonna be okay. You always want to make sure that these tail blades, if you're looking from the right, they rotate in the counterclockwise direction. So that's the way that you want to put those blades in. I've seen people put blades in backwards. I've seen people put these links on there backwards, hook this one up to the other one. I've seen all kinds of stuff like that. Just make sure that you know what you got. Another good thing to do is to actually take a lot of pictures of what you have. Maybe even record some video of what your helicopter does when you move the sticks. That way you got something to reference when you come back to it. Now for the tail gyro. I've seen people where they had the switch reversed wrong and so forth. And you want to make sure that you've got your gyro switch on your radio reversed, so that when you've got your gyro in rate mode, if you move your stick to the right, the Healy, the tail slider is going to move to the left, but it doesn't tell the whole story with the gyro. Okay, for the gyro in this particular helicopter, I've got it all set up right. I like to put my finger on the rod back here, okay, and then jerk the helicopter, and if I jerk it in a certain direction, I'm going to feel that piece right there move in one direction or the other. I typically jerk the helicopter to the right, or from the top down a clockwise direction, and I want to feel that piece pushing on my finger. Okay, one quick jerk, it's going to push and then it's going to pull away. It's the first feeling that I want to have. Some people will also put their finger right here and then they'll jerk the helicopter in one direction or the other, looking for a pinch. If I put my thumb in here, okay, and I jerk the helicopter over to the counterclockwise direction, I'm going to feel a pinch. Okay. So know the tail, know the direction that the gyro is supposed to do. It's supposed to counteract whatever you do. Okay. So if moving the slider to the right or the left, okay, if I've got my stick, if I move my stick to the right, the slider goes to the left. Okay. So left yaw, okay, is gonna make the gyro want to counteract with right yaw. Okay, so if you don't understand that, spend some time reading it, because really knowing what the tail is supposed to do really helps a lot. And one thing that I do as a bonus is, before I take the Healy off, pretty much every single flight, I'm checking that tail to make sure it's okay. I'm checking the swash with the sticks, make sure it's responding, right stick, left stick, back, forward. And as I'm spinning up, I'll actually do the same thing. I'll spin up the Healy, and I'll sort of lean the helicopter to the right a little bit, to the left a little bit, and I should see the helicopter lean and so forth. I also do the same thing with the tail. Hopefully, if I'm on a surface that's going to slide a little bit or give a little bit, even the grass, I'll gently push the stick to the left, and I'll make sure that the helicopter wants to yaw to the left or yaw to the right, and then I know I'm pretty much okay. It happens to be that a couple times I didn't do that, and I actually taken off where my gyro wasn't initialized, and I paid for it. The helicopter spun around 4 or 5 times. Luckily, I was able to stick it back to the ground. But I find that when I don't do all those pre-flight checks, eventually I'm going to get bitten, and you might too. I asked a Healy mentor of mine many years ago, I said, what's the best advice for a beginner? What can you tell me that's really good advice? And he said, the most important advice is take all the advice that you get with a grain of salt.